Accountable for its natural evolutionary biology.
Is cheating morally correct?
Yes.
Depends.
Yeah.
Cheating is morally correct. Not only is it amoral, not only does it have no moral weight at all, like it's just something that happens, but it is moral. It's a good thing for women to cheat on men? No. For men to cheat on women, specifically. It's a good thing for men to cheat on women. This is Andrew Tate. If you're unfamiliar, he's famously under investigation for human trafficking. Some label him as King Incel. He tends to cater to that group of people. For a brief moment in 2022, he was the most Googled person on planet Earth, even outpacing Donald Trump. And he has some absolutely backwards views on women, to say the least. This is part 2. If you haven't seen the other, don't sweat it. It stands independently of the rest. I'll provide context if it's missing. In this one, he tries to justify the position that it's moral for a man to cheat on a woman, but it's immoral for a woman to cheat on a man. Let's watch.
So when a man, because he's a top G, cheats on a woman, it's like, well, what do you expect? When you should actually turn around to him and say...
Accountable for what? Accountable for its natural evolutionary biology.
Is cheating morally correct?
Yes.
Depends.
Yeah.
Seriously, were they dropped on their heads as children? Until Andrew Tate came out of the woodwork, I didn't realize how many people were this. There are so many people on this planet. Holy shit.
Yes.
How can you say that? Are you joking?
okay with your woman cheating on you then?
Absolutely not. That's wrong.
No, because
it's around when she cheats on you, but you can cheat on her.
There has not been in the history.
This is his answer. I'll let him answer in a second, but this is really his answer. Women can't cheat on men, but men can cheat on women because they're not equals. Men and women are not equals.
History of humanity, across any culture, any book, any story, any fable, there has never been across the history of humanity any respect put on the name of a promiscuous female ever. Ever. You name the biggest conquerors that you can possibly name from history. Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, all of them. They all had 100 wives, bunch of children, big G, conquered the world. Normal. That is normal evolutionary biology. That's how men are designed to be. There's never been a single female who's been celebrated for her promiscuity ever in history. It's always been frowned upon and disgusting. So yes, we are completely and utterly different. Yes, it's different if a woman cheats on a man. And if a man is at a complete top level of his life and ticks every single box, and if he decides to be loyal, which some do, and I can be loyal, and I have been loyal, but there's also times in my life where I think, fuck it, I don't want to be, and get a new girlfriend every single day of the week. I can do that, and I can decide to do that. If a woman decides to do the same, purely because her value is high enough to attract so many males, because she's beautiful, for example, it is completely different. And I'm going to explain to you why it's completely different, so buckle up. It's different.
Oh my God, here we go. Okay, so he's about to explain to us why women are not allowed to cheat on men, but men are why it's outright moral, why it is a moral thing for men to cheat on women, but not for women to cheat on men. Okay? Lay it on me, bud.
It's different. It's different. Well, I'll tell you why. It is impossible for a female to be promiscuous on a long enough period of time without devaluing herself, because she is people she shouldn't be. There's no way she is sleeping with endless men, and all of them are either high-value men or treating her the way she should be treated. If you find a woman who slept with 50, 100 dudes, she's either fucking dudes which aren't at her level or haven't worked hard enough to try and get. She's just too drunk to realize he's a loser, plays video games, or she's fucking a top G who barely texts her back.
Playing video games makes you a loser, apparently. Oops. Damn.
So either way, she's a dude she shouldn't be, or a guy who's at the level who doesn't give her the right amount of attention.
You notice there's this woman sitting on the couch with her hand raised. Now, Tate is going to completely ignore that because he believes that women are not worthy of interrupting men. They're not allowed to interrupt men because they're not as good as men. Now, if it was a man raising his hand next to Andrew Tate, he wouldn't allow that person to speak either, because the man should be a top G and just speak up, just interrupt Tate. And if it's a bad time, then Tate will just kickbox the person to settle who should talk next. That's like the personality trait that this guy is giving off, that he's encouraging. It's just insane and dumb as dog shit. What does the top G stand for? I don't know. God, maybe? Or gangsta? I don't know. I couldn't even guess. He's created this worldview that is very obviously just... It all revolves around him being deeply insecure about everything. Every aspect of his life. He's insecure about all of it. And he's trying to cover that insecurity up desperately. And this is the product. This is what we see. That's what we're watching. him trying to cover up the insecurity and failing miserably. It is truly embarrassing. Like the other day, he was talking to Greta Thunberg. I think that's her name. You know, the girl the climate activist who spoke, I think, at the UN and said, how dare you, not take climate change seriously when I'm the one that's going to have to, like, rebuild the world after you destroy it with oil and everything else. She was 12 when she said that, I think. So that was like 7 years ago or something. Well, Andrew Tate took it upon himself just the other day to tweet at her and say, I have like 12 Bugattis or something. I have all these cars that emit carbon into the atmosphere and I don't care. Send me your email address and I'll give you a list of all of my other cars or something like that. Like, why is he doing this? Why is he harassing this teenager? Why is he reveling in the fact that he pollutes? Who knows? I don't know. I have no idea. But she tweets back at him. She says, yeah, send it to my email address, smallenergy@getalife.com. And then he says, wow, so you're saying you have a small or something like that. Yeah, dumbass. She doesn't have it. What is going through this guy's head? I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you. That's basically the response he gave. It's like, no you. It was an unironic no you that he gave. Everything he says and does screams insecure. It screams, I am inadequate and I know that I'm inadequate and I'm trying to show you that I'm not inadequate. That's what he is screaming. With every action he takes, with everything that he ever says. It is the most cringe I have ever seen in my life.
Woman to find a guy who's truly on a level, who truly treats her the way she should be treated, that's once every couple years, if that. You ain't just going to go out there a new dude every week and say, yeah, he's worth it. Yeah, he treats me good enough to get my da-da-da. And you know what's funny about the universe? It's actually beautiful about the universe because it's equal and opposite forces. When you devalue yourself, it's kind of like men can smell it on you. They can just look at a bitch and go, oh. And that's the way.
That's interesting. When you devalue yourself, when you don't have confidence, when you feel like you're not worth this or that or whatever else, you can smell it on somebody, right? He's right about that. Absolutely. People can smell a lack of confidence on people. And you know who I smell a lack of confidence in? Andrew Tate. You can smell the embarrassment and the lack of confidence in this guy. You can see it from a mile away. It is the most embarrassing thing to watch as this guy talks about Bugattis constantly and how rich he is and how he's not a brokey, but everybody around him is a brokey. And if people just beg him, then he could make them not a brokey also. It is the biggest cringe I've ever seen in my life. Trump too. Yeah, absolutely, Captain Beyond. Yeah, 100%. Trump is the exact same way. Just no confidence. No nothing. Like, he honestly, I think that they hate themselves. They're embarrassed by themselves. And they don't know how to process those emotions.
It works. So you have to be very careful as a female and sit and go, does this man truly deserve? If you think about it, the answer 99% of the time, especially if you're promiscuous, is no. So when a woman is sleeping around with all these men, she's devaluing herself. She's devaluing herself, and the world knows, God knows, the universe knows. When a man does it, he doesn't devalue himself at all. That's just the way it works.
Can I ask you a question? Wait. Answer.
People literally clapping for this shit.
1 second. Sir, may I ask you a question? What would you say if a woman now is married to 2 men?
Haram.
Why?
No, I'll tell you why. Let's talk about this. What is the difference between...
Haram, FYI, is Arabic, I think. It means dirty. There's a terrorist group in the Middle East that I've looked into called Boko Haram. It means dirty book. It literally translates to dirty book. Haram is something that you shouldn't do. Halal is good. It's clean, basically. So in New York City, there are a lot of food carts all over the place that say halal across the side or kosher across the side. Kosher and halal mean clean. They're good. They are prepared properly. The food is. So yeah, he's saying if a woman is married to 2 men, that's dirty. That's wrong. It's evil. It's immoral. It's not scriptural, technically, according to like the Quran or whatever. I don't know if is he Muslim? I don't think he is. Did he convert to Islam? That could be. Maybe he did. Haram means forbidden. There you go.
between a man, let's say me, I have 4 wives, right? What's the difference between a man having 4 wives and a woman having 4 men?
You can impregnate the 4 wives at the same time.
You can impregnate the 4 wives at the same time, and we know who the parents are, right? So
Yes.
let's say you had 4 pregnancies, you know who the mother is because she's carrying the baby, and you know who the dad is, top G. If you had a woman with 4 men and she gets pregnant, who's...
It is so cringe to sit here listening to the things that he says. It hurts. It physically hurts. I literally I feel like my face is imploding in on itself because it's so cringe. You can smell the lack of confidence in this dude. He, at the very least, pretends to think that he is the coolest shit alive when he is not.
What about if...
But no, I'm asking.
Okay,
you know?
I ask, what if they're different races? One
Answer
white,
the
one black?
question.
You don't know.
Answer the question.
You don't know. Now, modern science can come along and maybe fix that for you, but that doesn't mean it's not wrong in the eyes of God. The idea of having a family, the idea of a child being born, one of the baselines for a new life to come onto this planet is for at least to understand who the 2 people who made it are, at least. If you have a woman, 4 dudes, you don't even know who got her pregnant.
So may I just
It's
say...
disgusting.
Wait.
Have you seen the twins that had 2 different dads?
Oh, yeah, I saw that. May I just say something?
This is just... God, I can't stand it, dude. Well, here's what I find interesting. There's this thing called the F scale. It stands for the fascism scale. It was invented in 1947. I've talked about it a couple times, but it was created to determine who would be most likely to fall down a fascism pipeline, basically. Yeah, it's a personality test, and it has some interesting qualities on it. Think about this. Tell me if any of this sounds familiar, okay? Conventionalism, conformity to the traditional societal norms and values of the middle class. Authoritarian submission, a passive notion toward adhering to conventional norms and values. Authoritarian aggression, punishing and condemning individuals who don't adhere to conventional values. Religion and ethics, superstition. I mean, we've heard them mention already astrology, that would be superstition, among other things. We've heard them talk about religion already. Just now, he talked about religion and ethics. He said it's moral for men to cheat on women. A rejection of all inwardness, of the subjective, the imaginative, the tender-minded, of self-criticism. Destructiveness and cynicism, generalized hostility, vilification of the human. Projectivity, the disposition to believe that wild and dangerous things go on in the world, the projection outwards of unconscious emotional impulses, and finally, exaggerated concern with sexual goings-on. That is literally what this entire thing has been about. Obsession with sexual goings-on. That's what it's all about for these people. It's insane. Holy shit, dude.
Something then. So if that is the case, yeah, if the one thing that you're meant to have is you, at least you know who the 2 people that put that child on earth are, then that's why promiscuity for men is also a problem, because they get women pregnant. Sometimes they don't even know they have children. That's haram, no?
No, it's completely different. It's different because you have to understand, I'm talking about humans. You look at humans from a societal perspective, but society has changed, right? So let's say 200-300 years ago, if a woman got pregnant, she needed a man to survive. If that man didn't take care of her...
That's not true. 200 or 300 years ago, it would have been much more helpful to have another person there to assist you. Didn't have to be a man. Didn't require a man to survive or any of that stuff. 200 or 300 years ago, she needed help. Doesn't mean it had to have been a man. Doesn't mean it had to have been a boyfriend or a husband. Could have been a father, I guess. And aside from that, at the time, it was really, like, a lot of the problems were the direct result of, like, socially constructed issues. Like, they weren't allowed to, live on their own or rent a place or have a job or whatever because they were women. It was socially constructed problems, not physical problems, like they weren't strong enough to do this thing or that thing or whatever else.
Humans. You look at humans from a societal perspective, but society has changed, right? So let's say 200-300 years ago, if a woman got pregnant, she needed a man to survive. If that man didn't take care of her during pregnancy, she was going to die. She couldn't work a job, she couldn't hunt, couldn't fish, whatever, right? A woman literally needed that man for survival.
We're talking 200 or 300 years ago. Does he know what society was like 200 or 300 years ago? I think what he meant was 20 or 30,000 years ago, not 200 or 300 years ago. We still had civilization 200 or 300 years ago. We're talking the 1700s. People weren't, like, forced to live in packs and rove about hunting fish and, game and stuff like that. Like, there were markets back then. Does he realize that or no?
So if you were to come to me and say I'm pregnant, but you've been 4 different dudes, I'd be like, who says it's mine? Why am I looking after you? None of them want to look after her. She will literally perish. This is why in most of the world today, Still today, virginity is so coveted, and throughout all of history, it's been so coveted because that's the only way to ensure paternity. She's a virgin. I know that's my baby. She ain't a virgin. Prove it's mine.
Okay, I don't know that people were like obsessed with proving paternity back then or whatever, but yeah, I mean, there is a weird obsession with virginity. He's correct about that.
Outside of this modern science bullshit.
But see, this is what he does. Like, he starts with a grain of truth. People seem to be obsessed with virginity in society. And then he builds it into this big, absurd, nonsensical mess. Building on it and explaining why it's the case without any evidence at all. Just making shit up.
Shaitan, the devil we have here in the West, in most of the world today, without virginity or at least a low body count or at least anti-promiscuity, you can't tell that that's your baby. So it's a completely different thing. You're looking at the idea of a woman being pregnant and coming to a group of men and saying, one of you has to take care of me and put up with me when I'm fat and moody and annoying and I need my bills paid. And all the men are going to sit there and go, no, fuck no, prove it's mine. You can't prove it, bounce. Where it's different. If I get 4 women pregnant, we know the deal.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So obviously back then for survival, women needed a man. Otherwise, when they were pregnant, they could die and all of these things, they would perish. In today's society, given evolution, given the fact that as women we can go and get...
Men.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that. Isn't there a glitch between what is actually happening and the nature of what we have in our bodies? I think that's probably the conflict that we're having right now.
Glitch in what way?
Yeah, what the hell is she talking about? Like, even Tate doesn't understand what she's referring to right now. This makes no sense at all. Usually with the chances, I get a lucky egg within 7 chances or so. I'm on 15 chances now. I think statistically, I should have a lucky egg by the 19th chancey. That is statistically what it should be. So we'll see if that works out or not.
Physical sense, perhaps
that's
like
right.
naturally.
It's very interesting. Women don't feel like they need men in a physical sense because life is soft, but it's bullshit. And it's bullshit because you still need men by proxy, 1, and 2. The second life gets difficult, you very quickly learn how much you need men. But women will go, I'm independent. I don't need no man because I have an OnlyFans and men pay my OnlyFans. And if anyone comes up to me, I'll call a male police officer. I don't need men. Shut up, you fucking idiot. Of course you do. You just named your whole life is based on fucking men. The road you're driving on was paved by a man. The house you're...
Oh my God, it's so terrible. How does he know that the road that they're driving on was paved by a man? There are women that do construction work, lots of it. What is he even talking about? He's acting like men are the root of society, that men do everything, that men solve all problems, that men are the workers in society and women are just here to leech off of men and give men, favors, basically. I don't know how else to phrase that politely without getting demonetized. It should show you how he views women, in all seriousness. This should give you a glimpse into the way that he views them. Now, my question is, why does he view women that way? What happened to him when he was little that led him to these conclusions about women? This is insane.
You're living in was built by a man. The car you're driving was designed by a man. Your whole life depends on men. And the second anything bad were...
How does he know that is literally every single car ever designed by a man? Literally every car? Are there no women on design teams? None? Why is he giving credit to men for literally everything in society? Women are only there to be used and thrown out. This is like the guy's view on the world. How are these women sitting here in good conscience, contributing to this and having him on their show? And he's saying all this messed up stuff about him. Holy shit.
To happen to you, the second you were physically threatened, or times were to get hard, or war would start, or famine, or riots, the first thing you do is find a big strong man, shit yourself, and throw the feminism out the window. Feminism goes out the fucking window the second that the snow needs shoveling, or there's a fucking broken down car, or...
Okay, feminism is a desire for equality. Does he think that feminism is where men shouldn't exist or take part in anything ever? Was that his misunderstanding of it? You gotta be joking. Like, this guy, everything out of his mouth is dumb as dog shit.
The entirety changing, then all that crap vanishes. It's garbage. And this is the very interesting thing. I'll make a point here, which is going to get me canceled again, but I don't give a fuck. But this is the point. Feminism in and of itself can't be defended. Any idea, the point of an idea is that it can be defended by the people who believe in it. This has been the whole point of war since the dawn of time. It doesn't matter if it was the Christians against the Hindus. It doesn't matter if it was the Germans against the French. There were people who had ideas and ideologies, and they're prepared to fight each other to defend their ideology. Feminism is an ideology which cannot be defended by feminists. The only people who can defend feminism are the men who subscribe to the garbage. If all the feminists were to get in a line and say, we want feminism, and the conservative men were to get in a line, you would learn very quickly it's bullshit. I had a friend in Afghanistan.
Okay, I don't understand. So he's saying, I think what he's trying to say, I'm going to be honest about this. I think what he's trying to communicate right now is that men who believe in equality between men and women are weaker inherently. Physiologically, they are weaker because they believe in equality. And men who do not believe in equality are stronger physiologically. And so if you and even if the men who believe in equality outnumber the ones that don't, the ones that do not believe in equality are so much more physiologically strong than the ones that do believe in equality that they could defeat them in any battle. So he's saying if we all lined up in our lines, people who believe in equality and those who don't, the ones who do not believe in equality could beat up the ones that do. That's the bottom line here. That's what he's trying to communicate. Genius. That's on point. He is so right. I joke and I make a joke and say that he's right sarcastically, but in this type of situation, it's really hard to tell the difference between sarcasm and like reality at the moment. So,
when Taliban kicked America out, and he told me the Americans were telling the girls they could go to school, so they built all these girls' schools and they put the Afghanistani defense forces there, and they funded the Afghanistan defense.
Wait, did he say Afghanistani? Is it Afghan or Afghanistani, or is it Afghanistanini?
Forces to protect these schools. You had American satellites, you had night vision goggles. Taliban were afraid to attack. America leaves. Now you have Afghani defense forces. They're basically blind.
Wait, now it's Afghani? Which is it? Is it Afghani or Afghanistani? I can't tell.
Don't have satellites anymore. Don't have night vision, whatever. So now it's a real war. The men are standing next to this girls' school. The Taliban are coming. You're some dude. You're standing there and you're looking at this girls' school going, I don't really give a fuck if girls go to school. Bounce. And you didn't fight. So that's why they all gave up and Taliban took over so quickly. And when I said this, the girl's like, yeah, they should.
That's not why that happened. That is not why people left the area. It wasn't because they don't care if girls go to school. It's because it's a war that we'd been in for 20 years as the United States of America, and it's not a war that we should continue fighting, honestly. Unfortunately, it's like we have to draw a line somewhere. Afghanistan had to stand up for itself eventually or fall. It has to stand or fall on its own. And after 20 years, it's determined that it's going to fall. That's just what it is. Look at Ukraine. When Ukraine was invaded, there was like a ton of corruption through the Ukraine military before the war. Not just the military, just governmental corruption. That's why they weren't allowed into NATO. That's why it's so ridiculous that Russia would even accuse Ukraine of trying to join NATO. I mean, yeah, they were trying to join NATO. They had no chance of joining NATO. They were too corrupt. There were like sanctions and stuff placed on Ukraine to try to help curb the corruption that was so rampant and widespread through the country. And then Russia invades, and suddenly everybody feels like their lives are on the line, and they're fighting to correct things. They're fighting for their lives. They're fighting for their homes, their cities. Corruption falls through the floor in Ukraine because they need every penny they can get. They are fighting for everything. Russia is fighting for more land. Ukraine is fighting to survive. And just like that, Zelensky stayed in the city through the bombings, and there's a massive swell of pride throughout the country. There is no sense of patriotism or national pride in Afghanistan. It doesn't exist. There is no nationalism. And unfortunately, that's something that you need in a country, at least to some degree. You need a sense of national pride in a country. If they're going to put their lives on the line, if they're going to fight, if they're going to defend their homes and their values and their lives, then they need a sense of national unity and pride. They need values to fall back on. And Afghanistan just didn't have it. They just didn't have that sense of national pride and unity. And that's why it fell so quickly. Ukraine already had that sense of national pride and unity, and it stood. I think the U.S. was kind of hoping that after all of the training and building up that they did over the past 20 years, there would be some sense of national pride, some sense of patriotism in Afghanistan that would encourage these people to stand up and hold the line. And in some cases, that was true. There were some people that had a sense of national pride in Afghanistan, that had a sense of patriotism and belief in oneself. But it was too few and far between for it to actually work out. So it crumbled like, I don't know, what give me an example of something that things crumble like. Crumbled like a piece of wet paper, but Ukraine stood. Russia was hoping Ukraine was going to crumble like Afghanistan did, and when it didn't work, they realized just how fucked they were. Anyways, it wasn't because Americans didn't care if women went to school. Had nothing to do with it, as Andrew Tate was talking about. It was all because we needed to give them the opportunity to defend their own homeland and show us if they have a sense of national pride or not. The United States would have continued to support the military there if they had stood up to the Taliban. They didn't. They crumbled like a piece of wet paper.
Fought for us, feminism. Why don't the women fight?
Can I ask?
Oh, wait, the women can't defend their own fucking idea. You need men to defend feminism. So that's why the whole thing is stupid.
So
this is really interesting what he's saying here. Let me step back, listen again.
Gave up and Taliban took over so quickly. And when I said this, the girl's like, yeah, they should have fought for us, feminism. Why don't the women fight?
Can I ask?
Oh, wait, the women can't defend their own fucking idea. You need men to defend feminism. So that's...
No, the women could have, but the women were not trained to. You have to be trained to be a soldier. You can't just be handed a gun and walk up and fight a battle. You know what happens when you do that? It ends up like, what was Stalingrad, I think? There's a city in the USSR that fought against Germany in World War II. And I think some crazy number of people, like 63 million people died because they were untrained. They were not soldiers. Stalin's whole idea behind fighting the war, like his strategy, was to throw more people at it. Throw more soldiers at the war or at the battlefield and see what happens. They should win if there are more. There are only 50,000 Germans, and we have 2 million Soviet troops here, right? But these Soviet troops are completely untrained, and the German soldiers are not. Doesn't matter, right? Way too many Soviet troops. They should outnumber them. No, that's not how it works. They lost an obscenely high number of casualties. A crazy number. Millions of people died because they were untrained. And they were fighting a trained military. It doesn't work that way. You can't just throw women into the fight. You have to train them. Now, they're perfectly as capable as men as long as they're trained. They're just not in Afghanistan. They're not. They're not trained. That's just what it is. Yeah, I don't know the area, so someone else is going to have to help me out here. Stalingrad, 3 separate German armies hit from 3 sides. The Russian people were also starved and unarmed. During World War II, Stalin threw people at the war, just randomly, all willy-nilly, with no training. He just kept throwing people at him, and they kept dying. Stalin was not a good military leader or a tactician. Stalin was just like, throw people at it and see what happens, and it failed miserably, so yeah. Anyways, yeah. Tate just has no idea what he's talking about, but he says it confidently, so people believe he does know what he's talking about.
That's why the whole thing is stupid.
So,
the second men don't defend it. It just fails as a fucking ideology. It's garbage.
May I tell you something now? So this is the thing. This is when we assume that women perhaps don't have the physical or even mental ability to go to a war. Wait.
They do have the physical or mental ability to go to war. Now, are men physiologically stronger than women on average? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there are some women that are stronger than men and some men that are stronger than women, though. It's not a perfect science. But Andrew Tate can't even accept that. He accepts his own facts, his own set of facts without fail. It's bizarre.
Wait, because this is the thing. For example, in Ukraine, a lot of women took up arms. And in fact, I'm Angolan. Wait, I'm Angolan. Wait. I'm Angolan. And
Don't lie
listen,
to the people at home.
Wait, don't worry. I'll talk about my
Yeah, but you
personal
wanna go to
story.
war? You wanna
No,
fight the
wait.
front
Let me
lines?
tell you. Let me tell you something. This is the thing. I think it's also really like silly to assume that, for example, a woman, because she didn't go to school, she'll not be as intelligent as a man. Therefore, naturally, a woman is not intelligent. No, it doesn't make sense. If we're now starting to normalize equality and we want to put everybody in the forefront, give a woman a
Who's
gun.
normalizing equality?
Well, let me tell you this. There is literally no difference between men and women. None. Except for one or two very small differences. You don't realize how similar human beings are. There are almost no differences. But Andrew Tate is obsessed with the fact that, or with the idea that there are differences, and zeroes in on them and blows them way out of proportion and makes it out like they are absolutely everything. That's really the problem here.
Well, that's what people are wanting. Then that's
People
the case.
like who?
Let me tell you,
Who wants to
Auntie,
normalize equality? People like who? Feminists. Who else
No,
wants to?
I want. Well, actually, no equality. I want respect. That's really
Yeah,
what I
well,
want.
Stopping you from getting respect.
No,
I get respect.
I
What's
get
stopping you from getting
respect. I get respect.
So,
That's
you
what I
just
want.
said
That's
you
what I
want
like.
respect.
What I think is,
You don't even know what you want.
I'll tell you what I
You don't know
want.
what you want. You want
As a
equality
woman, I
and you
carry
want
myself
respect.
differently. I actually hold the things that I have done in the fights that I fought. I hold it. That's why when you speak to me, I don't move different. I move different to many of the girls. That's why when you talk to me and you argue with me, I don't take
argue
it.
you.
You do
I tell
sometimes.
you.
And
I
I'll
don't
tell you
argue.
something. A lot of women may have the accolades to be somebody, but they are uncomfortable to own that. And the reason why, then I would like to ask you, for example, I do need a man, for example, to procreate. But other than that, I'm quite strong, and I would find a way to protect myself differently. With that mentality, what would be the man that would be for me then?
Denava, what would you do if one of these security guards broke into your door?
What would I do? Okay.
Okay, once again, they're assuming that every woman is weaker than every single man. Yes, on average, men are stronger than women. What does that have to do with anything? Who cares? Why does anybody care if she's weaker or stronger than any other person? I don't understand. Why does any of this matter?
I'll tell
What would you do? What would you do? No, seriously, there's no guns here.
She's a feminist.
I'll tell you. No, I'm not a
She was
feminist.
shit, as they tell me.
I'm not a feminist. I'm a bit smarter.
Okay,
Either
okay,
I play
these
dead,
two guys.
one.
Why is this even a question? Why is she even playing into this question? I don't understand. What's the point? Why are they even bringing this up?
Okay, they see you're not dead.
It's okay.
They
No,
see
I'd
you
be like
breathing.
this, and then if not, maybe I would kind of like be very gentle and comply to find a way to get out of
Okay,
it.
so
If they want to come and kill me,
but let's make it
there's
important.
Okay, that's called there's fight or flight. You guys have probably heard that term, but there's more than just fight or flight. There's fight, flight, fawn, or there's one more. There are 4 of them. Fawn is one of them. She wants to pretend to comply and work with this person until she sees an opportunity to get out of a situation. That's what fawning is. I don't remember what the 4th one is, but you can look it up, and it should tell you right up front there. Anyway, yeah, she's talking about fawning. That is an escape or protection mechanism, if you will.
not much that many people
But
can
let's
do.
make an important point. You're talking about equality equaling respect. The way you get respect as a woman is by being feminine. There's nothing. We can be equal and very, very different. I'm not saying that there's not equality, but you've confused equality with the same. You can be equal with
Equity.
completely different things. You can have a bishop and a knight on a chessboard. They're equal in terms of points, but they do different things, right? A woman can have equal respect to a man if she is very good at being a woman, and a man gets respect for being very good at being a man. When a woman decides she wants to act like a man, or a man wants to act like a woman, that's where all gets fucked up. We try to pretend it's all the
Yes.
same. It's not the same. Men and women are good at
Okay, what he's saying is with that bishop and the knight comparison, like a bishop and a knight do different things on a chessboard. They're not the same, but they could be considered equals or whatever. What he's really saying is separate but equal, and that's a common refrain from segregation days. And he's also trying to make it out like the differences between men and women are so dramatic. They are so serious. The differences, it's such a wide chasm between them that we could never meet in the middle. We're completely different, and we are damned to always be separate. Men are always destined to be above and better than and in control of women, and women are always destined to cater to and be submissive to men because they're so different. That's what he's doing. He's taking these minor differences that are they're basically negligible, and he's spinning it up into something huge, something way bigger than it should be.
different things. We have different strengths, different weaknesses. There's nothing wrong with accepting that. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm a woman, I'm good at X, he's a man, he's good at Y. Then we work together as a team, we have a beautiful family, we're happy forever. It's only confused where you have women who sit and go, no, because in the name of equality, we can fight in war. There's no fucking women on the front line in Ukraine. That is psyop bullshit.
Wow, dude. There are no women on the front lines in Ukraine. Are you kidding me? That's psyop bullshit? Why does he think that, I wonder? Does he believe that because he thinks that women are biologically inferior to men? I mean, that's the impression that I'm getting here, right? Holy shit, dude. This guy is nuts.
They put some chick there dancing around doing Pokemon dances to try and convince men to go fucking die in a ditch. It's garbage. If you go to the front line of Ukraine right now, you do not see women.
She says, you're a dork. Like, oh, this is funny. You're a dork. No, this isn't a joke. He's saying that Ukraine is... he's saying, really what he's saying is Ukrainian feminists are running psychological operations to convince people that feminism is real. This is insane. This is straight up insane.
And their makeup and their manicures. You see fucking men in the freezing cold dying. You know where the women are? Dubai. Chilling. That's where the women are. So to sit and pretend that women are just as capable physically as men is a fucking lie. It's delusion.
Okay, nobody said that on average all women are just as capable as all men physically. Nobody ever said that. He's conflating things again. He's pushing them together and expanding upon these claims to make it sound ridiculous. That's not what anybody ever said. On average, women are physically not as strong as men. On average. But you do find some women that are stronger than some men. Why is this so hard to understand?
To say that you're as strong as men is delusion. You are good at other things. You're better than men at a lot of things, but it's not the physical world. And the unfortunate reality about life, this is what we're saying when I was saying earlier that feminism goes out the window when things get hard. The harder the world gets, the closer it gets to the baseline of humanity, the unfortunate baseline of humanity is violence. Yeah. That's what happens. If all the electricity were to go out and all the police were to quit, this would become a violent place very quickly, and there would be fucking zero feminists left. Zero. You would all need men. That's the bottom line of reality. That's the
Not really. Like, people... God. There is such a negligible difference between men and women that anybody could accomplish pretty much any task, regardless of gender. But he absolutely insists that he is needed by women. Women need him, and he won't have it any other way. Is this like routing back to a complex within his own psyche? Is this the result of his own emotional distress? I think it might be.
Bottom line. So you have to understand as a woman and say, okay, I need a man who's good at being a man.
But no one's saying that we don't need men in society. Of course we do. We're talking about relationships. Yeah, you're strong. But the thing is, I can live my life as a woman and not need a man.
What's a woman?
I don't... God, these people are so ridiculous.
Oh, Pearl, stop
like
it.
in my day-to-day life, I don't need a man to fix my car. I'll just go to the mechanic.
But listen, right?
But is the mechanic a man or a woman?
No, I'm saying yes, we need men.
There are plenty of men and women that are mechanics. There are plenty of both. It's like, and even if there weren't, even if there were only women, or I'm sorry, even if there were only male mechanics, does that like lead her to the conclusion that men are physiologically or psychologically superior for the field of mechanics? Does she think that men are just superior at like fixing cars? Are women incapable of learning this? I don't understand. I told you guys, these people are dumb as dog shit, every one of them.
Society, but in relationships, the only reason I actually need you is because I want you. I don't actually need you.
Do you know what?
I need you to procreate. Yes, I agree. But the thing is, I don't need you in my day-to-day life.
What if someone breaks into your house?
I'll just call
Who cares? Who cares? What does that have to do with anything?
the police.
Okay, what if they don't come? What if the average
Play
in
dead.
The US it takes like 15
and give them everything.
In the US it takes like 15 minutes for them to get there.
But that's not realistic.
What?
That doesn't happen.
No.
So, in this hypothetical, fictitious situation that she's building, the person that breaks into the house is not going to have a weapon, right? A man is going to have to come to blows with this other man that doesn't have a weapon. Neither people have a weapon in this fictitious situation that she's just created for us, okay? In that fictitious situation, I guess I would try to have a weapon.
On a day-to-day life.
These two guys in your house, what are you doing?
But that's not realistic. I've not had any man break into my house on a day-to-day. It doesn't happen.
The point is,
so let's be realistic now.
I know what you're saying, but the point is this. The point is, when we're talking about feminism as a whole demonizes men. And you just said...
No, it doesn't. Feminism just wants equality. It recognizes disparity between different groups of people. That's all. That's it. And you know what? I'm a single father. I've been a single father for a long time. And there was a period of time. Well, I guess I'm not really a single father. Like, I have a wife now that helps me out and stuff. But I was a single father for a while. There was a period of time where I would take my kid to the mall to go to, the play place or whatever thing there was there. And people would give me dirty looks. They would, call the cops on me. They would ask questions. They would point out. They'd be like, why is this guy here? What is he doing staring at the kids? When I was watching my own kid at the play place thing. That's what I was doing there. I was watching my own kid. Here's another example. Getting divorced. Men get the raw end of the deal. Men get screwed over. Men have a tendency to lose custody and have to pay child support and stuff like that. These sound like men's rights issues. They're not. They're women's rights issues. These are feminist issues. Women are viewed as the caretakers for children. That shouldn't be the case. They shouldn't primarily be the caregivers. Men should be acceptable as for the caregiving role for children. But people automatically assume that it's the woman that should be doing it, and if it's not, then there's something wrong. Something is up. The men's rights movement seems like it's standing for men's rights. It's really not. It's standing for equality, which is a feminist issue. These people talk all the time about feminism being cancer and toxic and blah, 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 blah. Feminism is fighting for equality no matter who that hurts or helps. They want equality. It's what it's always been. Now, there are some weird little nutter butters out there that eat themselves alive with hate over weird shit. And that probably makes up 0.5% of the population of feminists that are just pissed off about all kinds of things and looking for somebody to punish for it. I don't see that very often. But by and large, the feminist movement is trying to help people. It's trying to make things more equal and fair. Now, what does somebody breaking in have to do with anything at all? I have no idea what they're talking about or why I should care. If somebody breaks into this random person's house once in their life, get a gun if you fear that much. Or better yet, get a baseball bat and put a sock on the end of it. So if they try to grab the bat, the sock slips right off. That is a better defense mechanism than a man having a bat.
You just sat and said, besides procreation, I don't need a man in my life. I can go to a male mechanic or call a male police officer. They're men. So it's
No, not all police officers or mechanics are men. Are you kidding me? Is he really this dense? The answer is yes, he is.
Society, you are needed. I agree.
Okay,
of course, we need you.
Of course. So you're talking about being with a man because you want to. So my question to you is, why would you want to be with a man?
Why would a man want to be with you?
Because they're sexy.
I feel like because of the
So they're asking, what is her inherent value? What is her worth? Why does anybody care about her? And the answer is her looks. That's it. She is just good for sleeping with and nothing else. She is incapable of taking care of herself. She is incapable of earning money. She is incapable of doing absolutely anything at all except for sleeping with somebody. Now, what's the man's job? Earning money. That's it. That's the worldview that these people have. It is mind-blowingly stupid and vapid. How the hell did they get here? How many times were these people dropped on their heads as children, and how did they find each other? Did these guys find each other in a children dropped on their head support group or something?
Men.
No,
I love.
I don't like it, but it's not all about. What I'm trying to say is that in a good relationship, right, one that works, there's blue jobs and there's pink jobs. Right, and that's the problem that women have got.
Oh, geez,
they don't want to be doing no pink jobs.
But that's not what we're talking about. We're
about.
talking about relationships. Why do you need a man in a relationship? Because you want a partner.
Companionship, friendship, romantic love, things that you can't get by yourself.
Like you want to go on dates with him. It's not about I need someone to fix my car. Like go to a mechanic. You're not safe. Call the police.
Not
like
true.
it's not.
Wait. What about a father to your kids? You don't think your kids need to
Exactly.
can be around.
I definitely want.
She already said, for procreation purposes, I will need a man. Okay? And you know, that's even debatable. You don't even need... having two stable parents in a stable home is more important than anything else.
But these are the stuff. This is the reason
no,
I
you
need a man.
that.
And I agree.
Wait. It's not that you want it. You need it.
I agree. And these are the stuff that I need in a man. But it's like, at the end of the day, it's not like I completely need you. It's
But
like, I want you.
But the whole point is if the lights went out tomorrow, you would need a man.
In society, agree.
Why do we act like women are so useless?
They're saying this as though there are literally no women in the workforce. That's how they're framing this up, and it is so weird to hear.
I can change a tire.
I'm saying if the lights went out tomorrow, you would need someone to protect you. You
Yes,
would.
of course. In society, not my boyfriend.
I'll go on the ground.
Like, half of my exes can't even do anything.
That's actually another problem. A lot of men can't do much.
Do you know what I mean?
Not everybody's strong.
In this day and age, guys can't even fit a tire.
You cannot. No.
Not true, my sister.
But I can cook. And the thing is, I'm not even.
Your brothers. They don't know how to do
I'm not even saying.
Guys.
This is so stupid. I don't even know what to do with it, honestly.
Can I just say something?
You have to do one at a time.
Can I just say something? This is why you can't blame all men for your poor choices. You can't say, I'm talking to both of you because you're saying, yeah, my man can't do this, my man can't do that. What? And you want to settle down. Why would you go and choose a man that can't do these things that you wanted them to do? Because my man could do all the blue jobs.
I need a man
because most men grow up with a PlayStation instead. Most men grow up with a PlayStation and porn and things. No, that's the truth.
Dude, why do they always trash video games? I don't understand. Why do they hate video games so much? It's just so weird to me. As you can see, I'm trying to catch a Chansey here that has a lucky egg. I've been trying to catch a Chansey for like the past 2 hours. Doesn't normally take this long. Doesn't normally take anywhere near this long. But here I sit, trying to catch this damn Chansey. I really want the Chansey, because the lucky egg, it basically doubles the amount of experience that you get from battles, or maybe it increases by 50%. I forget. You pretty much have to have the lucky egg if you want to have any chance of being even close to a reasonable level to fight the Elite Four by the end of the game. So, yeah, I really want the lucky egg, like really bad. So I'm just going to keep fighting it out. Anyways, video games aren't bad. I love video games. They're fun. Can't people like video games? They're not a waste of time for me. People saying they're a waste of time? No. I love them. It's enjoyment. Can't you just get enjoyment out of life?
It's not.
Speak for yourself.
Speak for yourself.
That's the men you
Listen,
pick.
I'm sorry, I don't need a mechanic for my boyfriend.
You know what?
I need a father to my children. I don't need.
You know something, right? She needs a
police
father. Hang on a minute.
officer.
She needs a father for her children, right? So
Yeah.
she's gonna go out there, right? And you're gonna buy your child an electric car. You're gonna go and buy your child a bicycle. Who the hell's gonna buy the bicycle and fix the electric car? Who's gonna do it?
You got YouTube, I know.
Yeah. Why would you fix any of that stuff? There's a bike repair shop near where I live. There are scooter repair shops. There are video game repair shops. All kinds of repair shops around. And guess what? They have women on staff. Women aren't just for standing barefoot in the kitchen and pregnant and cooking. Women are good for other things too. Like, for example, literally everything a man is good for. Seriously, what is going through these people's heads?
Know how to do these things. I fixed a Bentley before.
Why
I fixed a Bentley.
And you can do everything yourself. Go and get some sperm donor or something because you obviously don't need a man.
That's the future, I
and
think,
the thing
you
is,
know.
no, the future for who?
No, of
that's
my
the problem.
society.
Because at the end of the day,
What year are you living in?
The
What
year that
year
you're
are
supposed
you
to be
living
living
in?
Because
You act like you're not in the Stone Age.
Let me finish talking. Let me finish talking, right? Now, you got a man, right? And you've been busy all day, right? And you're in your bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. And your man comes in with all of his friends and said, oh, babes, all the friends are here. They're hungry. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I'll cook for my man. I'm a traditional woman in that aspect.
Yeah, in what aspect?
Why should she be required to cook for his friends? I don't understand. Why don't they just order food? Just, if you've got a bunch of friends over and they're all hungry, either let them cook or you cook for them or you go get food. Like, go out and buy some. I don't understand. Why is it that this woman is the one that's required to cook for all of his friends? They have the strangest belief system that I have ever seen in my life. It's just bizarre, dude.
Why is it that when people start cooking, they think that cooking is traditional? It's everything. It's not just about cooking. They always say, I cook for my man, so I'm traditional.
I have a
No,
question.
no,
I have a
but the
question.
point is,
Wait. I have a question. Are you virgin? You're traditional, you're virgin.
Are you a virgin?
I said in that aspect. I'm not going to comment on me being a virgin or not, but what I'm going to say is every human being should be able to cook.
She's a hybrid of tradition and
I'm a person
modernization.
that survives. You know, I need to cook to survive.
Can I ask Mr. Tate something, right? I'm going to ask you something.
Sure.
Right, because I don't like bullshit, right? And there's certain people that I can't
Why are you so
bear talking
excited,
to, right?
man?
More virtue signaling. Like at the beginning of this, she started going off about how she lays it on the line and she tells people how it is and stuff. Well, nobody asked. Like that never came up. You weren't like laying it on the line for us before, and suddenly, you know, everyone was asking like, why are you laying it on the line like this, ma'am? Like you're being so mean to us. And then she had to explain. That's not what happened. It came her turn to introduce herself, and she started talking about how she lays it on the line and she tells people how it is. And here we are once again. She's virtue signaling. She's laying it on the line, quote unquote. All right, lay it on me.
So I'm going to talk to him because so far he's talking sense.
Thank you very much.
No, in no way is he talking sense.
Thank you.
It's
You're
giving
welcome.
pick me.
Right. Who said pick me? Listen, who just said pick
They
me?
want me. Don't look
No,
at
did
me.
you-
oh.
did you
I said
Did you
it's
say
giving pick me.
Give it
Because we're having a whole conversation.
Listen,
And you're
right.
like, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to Mr. Tate.
Hang on a minute. I've been with my man for 32 years.
Clap for
right?
yourself.
32 years. I don't need to clap for myself because I'm happy. I'm not here. And what I was going to ask him, right, is how would you think a woman? Would you think
Why are you
that
shouting?
woman?
Can you
Would you
calm
think that
down?
woman? Just calm down. I'm loud. I'm naturally. You don't want to hear me shout. Anyway, Mr. Tate, like I was saying.
Dude, this is so cringy. I cannot even with these people. Misogyny is a disease, and people like Andrew Tate is the physical evidence. Being a hateful turd is bad for your brain, folks. Yeah, absolutely. It's just ridiculous. Seriously, this is so cringe.
Before we got rudely interrupted, right? Now, is this your idea of a woman that you think deserves a man? I'm here, single, but I'm looking. I'm here. I'm like taking, if you want to hook me up, let me know. And I just want anybody, but choose. How does that make you feel? What is that kind of woman that you think deserves a man?
Well, he's a top G. You can't be asking him this question.
you don't
about us
want top
mere
Gs,
mortals.
innit?
We're mere mortals,
Speak
auntie.
for yourself.
Okay, I don't know what a top G is, but whatever it is, Andrew Tate is not it.
I'm no mere mortal.
I'm a mere mortal in his presence.
Because nobody
Come on
above
now.
me.
Which
I am
kind of
not a
question
mere
be that,
mortal.
though?
I am
Unlike you,
not a
we
mere
have
mortal.
options.
I'm a mere
I am
mortal
not
next to
a
this
mere
man,
mortal.
We have options.
Even
auntie.
this 8.5.
That is the most
If you have
stupid
options, then
thing.
where's your
That is the
ring?
most
Where's your
stupid
ring?
thing.
Because I actually can choose. I've not found a man that I want to be with.
Okay, that's
Well, I know your reality.
This is just so bad. Just everything about it. I don't even know what any of them are saying or what they mean or any of that. And also, I don't know who this woman is right here. Is she? I think she's like the person that owns the platform or something. What was the name of this again? Just Pearly Things. That's the name of this YouTube channel. Just Pearly Things. My God, dude, this is cringe incarnate.
I know your reality is you got to beg a man to give you.
Hang on a minute. You said unlike you.
Dude, I love how she kind of combined all of those words into a single word. Eng in a minute. There we go. Eng in a minute. Yeah, she just kind of combined it into one. Eng in a minute. That's an interesting word. I like it. How do you spell it, I wonder? Eng in a minute. That's actually on point. I'm going to have to try to use that in the future.
Yeah,
I have options.
We have options. Yeah.
You're out here looking for a man. You're out here saying that you're looking for a
When
man.
did I say I was looking for a man?
Oh my gosh, you was at the advertising when we done the introductions. That's what you said.
I said I was doing
That is what you
interviews.
said.
I didn't say I was going out
Oh
looking for a
my
man. I said
God.
I'm doing
Hang on a
interviews.
minute.
You come to
Listen,
me, I'm going to decide if I want you.
Mr. Tate, listen to this insult, right? Listen to the. I'm
not insulting you.
Hang on, listen. All right,
I'm
then
not
what do you call it?
insulting you.
Sign language. What I'm learning. Sign language. Right? Listen to what she just said to me. Unlike you, I have options. Fucking 32 years. You think I want options? I'm happy with my
It's
man.
giving you don't
I'm
really have
happy
much
with my-
options though. Because the way
No,
you're like,
it's
oh,
not
my
pick me.
Tate,
Auntie,
oh,
she
what
meant
do you
clout.
want? Like,
Wait. She meant.
Dude, what am I even looking at right now? I am so confused by this whole thing right now.
Chosen so bad.
And this chick in the right corner here of the couch, completely dead-ass silent, hasn't said a word practically since the beginning, and the only things that she's said have been intelligent. I wonder what she is thinking right now. I wonder if she regrets being on this platform now that she came on with this fucking Andrew Tate and all of the other people that are even dumber than him that are sitting around her.
Esther, I'm sure you didn't mean pick me. You meant clout chaser. Is that what it is?
It doesn't matter.
We could go with that too.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to clarify your problem. I was just saying.
Wait,
Because years
so
that I've totally
I
lost it. Why would I want to have options when I've been in a happy relationship for 32
No,
years?
clout chasers his fans.
It don't make no sense.
You can monetize on YouTube with clout.
Why are you calling her a pick me when you were the one advertising at the beginning of the show?
I said I'm doing interviews. I wasn't advertising nothing.
Okay, I think a pick-me girl, if you haven't heard this term before, I believe it's somebody who wants to, like, stand out from everybody else and be different and special and blah blah blah. I think that's what this is.
Okay,
It's banter.
Wait.
Do you guys
okay.
understand what an interview means?
Okay,
What you-
all right,
what you
all right.
She's being spicy, guys. Stop it.
Auntie,
Why do people even think that Tate is misogynist? Like, what has he actually done? It says, reach Zion. Have you only been here for 30 seconds? Every time the guy opens his mouth, it is a cavalcade of complete garbage nonsense. Misogynistic bullshit. Nonstop. How can you even say something that fucking stupid? I don't understand.
you had a question for Andrew.
Oh, yeah.
What was your question?
Oh, she asked already.
He didn't answer because everybody's too busy
Don't
jumping.
ask your question
Everybody's too busy
then.
jumping in. I already asked, but you're not too busy jumping in and being women.
He's
to be
patient.
listening. So
He's
now
ready
you,
to get
now
married.
you can all shut up and let him answer, innit?
I'll answer. Yeah. So to go back to one of my earlier points. Firstly, to make it clear in the disagreement, I agree with. Of course, I think everyone knows who I agree with. But I do, because you know what it is, though. You know what's actually funny? The things that she's saying are common knowledge 20, 30 years ago. This is how the world functioned. This is how the whole world functioned. The things I say that somehow people believe are controversial are exact.
They're not controversial. They're dumb as dog shit. The things that he says are stupid as it gets. He says that he says that it's moral. It is a moral act for a man to cheat on a woman. That's what he said earlier. It is moral for women to do that, or for men to do that. That's dumb as dog shit. That's not controversial. That's stupid. He said to a guy on Twitter who said he needed like 60 grand for life-saving surgery for his son. He said, how does it feel for you to not be able to afford this surgery that costs less than like a quarter of one of my cars? If you ask nicely, I will save your son. That's not controversial. That's just fucked up. You're just an asshole. You're a terrible person at that point. That's not like, well, you know, we're not sure. We're going to have to debate this. We should get up on stage and have the debate and discuss. No, you're just a piece of shit at that point is what it is.
The way the world functioned in like the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, all of the entire period of human history, men had a role of masculinity, women had a role of femininity. We worked as a team. Now the
Not really. The era that he's talking about there is an era when women were not allowed to have their own bank accounts or credit cards or rent their own apartments or anything. In large part, that is why women were in the positions that they were in at that time.
world's come along and they've destroyed and broken everything. And there's this new progressive think and this new generation of women who seem to believe that if we completely fuck it all up, it's going to end up better. And my argument to that is, listen, we went from walking around in fields in small nomadic groups to building cities, to building the pyramids, to going to the moon. We managed to go from a few thousand to billions of people, populate the entire planet, build canals, build skyscrapers, cities. All of this was done.
And that was all men, right? There wasn't a single woman involved in any of those designs or anything.
Based on the back of man being a man, woman being a woman, working together as a family.
And
Okay, I don't know what he means by that. What does he mean when he says it was built on the back of a man being a man and a woman being a woman? What does he mean? Does he mean that that's how society functioned at that time? The ability for a society to function in a certain way does not mean that it can't be improved.
was destroyed.
Now they're going to come along and fuck it up.
If it's not broke, don't.
No, it means they're going to come along and try to improve it, try to fix it, try to make it better. Women should have all the same rights as everybody else. Why is this so hard to, comprehend? Or why is anybody having so much trouble getting it through to these people? Why are they even sitting here having a debate right now over this? And this isn't even really a debate. They're not debating each other. They're just yanking each other off effectively about how they think that women should do things differently or some other nonsense.
Destroyed. It's been destroyed. Man has destroyed Earth. What are you talking about? It's been bad decisions from powerful men that got men to go to wars and from women to lose husbands.
Men built.
Men make decisions for war.
Listen, please.
Men kill men.
Please listen to me. Men.
Hey, that's actually a fair point. Yeah, I like that. Things are not all peachy. Things have kind of gone downhill hard in a few different areas. There are wars all over the place, suffering, starvation, people dying. And he's defending the old order. He's defending keeping things the same as they were before.
Men built the earth. I'm not saying men are perfect, but the entire world that you're existing on.
Why is she ceding this point to him? She's like, oh, okay, yeah, you know, men built the earth. Okay, I guess so. What? Men built the earth? What?
Was built by men.
Yeah, it's
all
true.
of it. So, and the point I'm making is now we're entering a world of new think. And that the problem with new think is it's not tested. I don't give a shit what anyone's opinion is. What I can.
Nobody has ever, like, given women the opportunity to rise up above, you know, and kind of be equals to men. Nobody has ever. We don't know what it's like for people to be equal to each other, so we don't want to test it, you know. We've always had slavery. Slavery's been around since day one, and I don't want to risk it, you know. Things work out great for us, so if we try to change it now, there's a chance things will fall apart if everybody is equal. So let's just keep slaves.
State, as a matter of fact, is we had 5,000 years of history that tells us how the world works with X and Y together. We're now entering a new paradigm. There's no 5,000 years of history. So whatever you believe about how it's going to work, or it's going to be better or worse, whatever, that's just you guessing. Everyone is guessing, right? So we're entering a.
No, it's not guessing. We have strong examples of what happens when men and women are treated equally in a society. At a large scale, there are a lot of societies out there that have attempted to raise women up to be treated equally and largely succeeded in some cases, in many cases. This isn't a guess. We know that it improves the economy. There are all kinds of things that improve. There are all kinds of things that prove that raising women up to be equals with men improves the living standard of everybody. But you know what Andrew Tate would say to that? You don't believe studies, do you? You don't believe things you read on the internet, do you? Those are just scientific studies. Who believes studies? What an idiot. See, I'm not joking. That sounds like a joke. It's not. He has said that before. You hold up scientific studies to make a point about something, and he says, oh, you believe everything you see on the internet? You're just dumb as dog shit, dude. Dumb as dog shit. Everything out of the guy's mouth.
Brand new paradigm, and everything's completely fucked up. The point you were making earlier, which is a fantastic one about if I pick a woman who's advertising, et cetera, men always, please keep this in mind, especially if you're a female. People always say, you know, the number of emails I get from girls who say you don't give enough girl game. I'll give you girl game right now. Your man wants status. That's what he wants. You need to find a way to make him look good to the world and to his friends.
So how do you do that?
I'll tell you. One of the ways a man can get status is to get the girl that no one can get. That's a very simple way, right? So
I said not ready to mingle. I did right.
Okay, no, but this is the truth, right? If I date a girl and she's perfect in every way, head to toe, and then I'd say, I met this girl, yeah, she's this. Oh, yeah, I took her for a date. Even if you didn't, no, I just went for a date. So you went, the attraction goes from this to zero, done. And it may not for some men, because some men haven't got choices, but men like me who genuinely have unlimited options, we want complete exclusivity. That's what we're looking.
I'm so confused by what he's talking about right now. I feel like he's just talking nonsense. Is it me? Is this even decipherable? Does this even make sense? Or is he just completely full of shit from the ground up right now? That's all I've got for you. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, check me out on Patreon. And let me know if you want to see more stuff like this in the comments. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.